ikifika ni madaktari, wage bill, sijui serikali, we'll live within our means.
The issue is the government actually signed the CBA. And you know, not only signing the CBA with doctors, they also actually further registered the CBA in court. You know, that is a valid document. So from that alone, the government has a case to answer because they actually signed the CBA and they have not disputed it. What the government is talking about is that the wage bill is too big, that, you know, they cannot afford it, and all this kind of stuff.
And these fellas were very clever. It was said in 2017, just before elections. I will not stand here on behalf of Council of Governors and say it was signed under duress, so I didn't say it.
Government never has duress. As a matter of fact, duress can only be for an individual. It means that you did something with somebody holding a gun on your head. Who would have been holding a gun over the head of government? You see, and that brings me to who is government. Is government William Samoei Ruto, the Kenya Kwanza government, or is government the civil servants and the civil service? So that puts them squarely responsible for this document. Now, this government of Kenya Kwanza keeps talking about, we are disciplined, we have good budgets, we have foresight. Government started off by paying foreign debt, and they were saying they were so responsible that they had to pay their foreign debt. And they've reworked or rescheduled the foreign debt. That is good. Government is talking about even domestic debt, particularly let me call it the corruption debt. You know, the unpaid bills in this country. That is where all the corruption is. And the government, this same government that is saying they don't have money, is planning to pay the unpaid bills over the years. I've heard about it, and there's a budget for it. When government was undertaking to find out exactly how much has not been paid for corruption, these so-called unpaid bills, why didn't they look at the contingent liability? You see, a contingent liability, unlike a direct liability, is a liability that has been entered into but has not been realized and taken into the books as a liability per se in the balance sheet. Contingent liabilities come after the other liabilities. The liabilities that are likely to occur. How would it be that this government is saying is so disciplined and they know what they are doing, they've really looked at the numbers, they are doing what, and they never took into account the contingent liabilities for doctors? Because that is a contracted liability. So the government must actually meet the demands by the doctors. So the question here is, how are they going to meet the demand? Two things that the government can do. The government can hire all those doctors who are trained and are supposed to be absorbed and give them the salary that is the 206,000 shillings. They could even negotiate with them and tell them, look, at the moment, we are not going to pay you this, we'll pay you 70,000, and then the difference we'll pay you over time, you know, so that, you know, doctors can go back into employment. The civil service must come up and operate as a government, and there are people who are there perpetually. So civil service is there. The permanent secretaries have not gone. It's only the figurehead, the so-called, cabinet secretaries. So this government has a case to answer. This government must take responsibility for the CBA that they signed. The question is not if, the question is when. They should be addressing when. And if they want to change the terms, they can change the terms to other doctors who are training, who have not even hit the field, as opposed to doctors who already are supposed to be absorbed in government. So government should stop parading itself around, trying to show us that right now they've just quite remembered that they are very disciplined and they financially disciplined, and they want doctors to actually go per scale. If they can take responsibility for foreign debt and they take responsibility for unpaid bills, why can't government take the responsibility for all doctors, like I've said? So this government of William Samoei Ruto himself should take responsibility and pay the doctors. There's no two ways about it. Well, if you are a doctor and you're out there, please let me know what you think about that. Thank you very much for tuning in. Welcome to Talk to Africa. My My name is George.